struggle is your relationship to yourself, right? So it doesn't matter you're in the dark, it doesn't matter you're outside. It's just that there is really amplifying in the sense that there is no escape. Yeah, and it becomes so much easier to feel this part of yourself which we call the witness consciousness. Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the podcast. I'm really excited to have a special guest on today. His name is Santosh, and we're going to be talking about being in the dark. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to keep my eyes open. I like to be able to see where I'm going. So this episode is all about blackness and darkness. So I'm really intrigued because I'm actually going to go on the dark rooms and challenge myself to spend some time in the dark. Which for me brings up a bit of fear, and it also brings up a bit of excitement and curiosity, and I have no idea why I'm doing it or what it's about. So I'm going to introduce Santosh. We're going to be speaking about dark rooms, yoga, philosophy, and Santosh is actually the organizer and the creator of Dark Room. Is it Dark Room Dome in
Dark Retreat Domes.
Dark Retreat Domes in Koh Phangan, Thailand. So that's my intro, Santosh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brett.
Joining us, man.
Thank you.
Why on earth would anybody want to be in the dark? Why go to the dark room?
It's tradition, it started with the Tibetan tradition, I guess, the Vajrayana, and we have some sect of Buddhism there where they actually spend a year to 3 years to 5 years in caves, and we do long retreats in semi-darkness, so it's really dark, and they don't come out of the caves. People bring them food.
3 to 5 years?
Yeah, it's kind of like a long retreat, very long retreat.
Wow, man.
They are masters of meditation. I saw a documentary where one of the masters were coming out of retreat after 5 years. I think he was there.
Wow.
And the master was saying things like, what you see of me is just a thing, but actually I'm not here right now. I'm already away. And he predicted exactly the day he's going to die. So he said, I'm going to be here for another month or two and then I'm going to go. And he died. He left.
Mate, we're 1 minute into it and I've already got the goosebumps.
Yeah. So it's when you're so that's what inspired me. And the second thing which inspired me also, we gave me the idea about 15 years ago, is also a teacher I had then at the time. We already did himself some dark retreats and was talking about it during the retreats I did with him.
Yeah.
So I thought, maybe I can do the same. And then also by studying yoga and stuff is one of the 8 limbs of yoga, in Patanjali.
Yeah.
It's called pratyahara. And it's like the withdrawal of your senses. It's one of the first steps of concentration of the mind. After the pranayama, you go to withdraw your senses. So I thought, this is like the perfect way, right? Yeah. It's like, at least the vision is totally gone.
Yeah.
And what happened when the dark comes, it's amazing. Because, now you use your eyes to define objects, to see things around you.
Yeah.
And you have a certain sense of space, of distance, everything. You have a certain feeling about the space you have around you. For example, I came into this room today, said, it's got a good energy here. It feels good in your house. Oh, it's nice, right? I was not saying that with my eyes, right? It's a feeling, right? It's a thing that we have, right? So once we close the eyes, we just think, it's just dark in there. So, but look closely, you see lights, colors, vibrations, feelings. So the more you stay, the more the darkness is like looking. You can have states where you look to the dark and you see a night sky. Where do you think you have? I see you have lots of tattoos. You have lots of nice mandalas on your legs and cool stuff and geometry. Where do you think the yogis got it?
From inside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't, you sit in the dark and then it comes to you, the figures, I had that too in the dark.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm still a complete beginner at this stuff, like the whole yogi, Buddhism stuff, it's like, reality is actually within you. It's like you're projecting it outside, it's kind of in here in the mind.
I mean, even the sound, what we exchange now, you see my mouth is moving, but the sound is happening in you.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yes, right? Yeah. It's not happening outside of you.
It's funny you saying that. I actually read a study about babies, that in the first few months of a baby's life, they do not have this idea of separation. So if the baby feels hungry, it thinks mummy and daddy are hungry. So there's just hunger, a sensation of hunger.
Yes.
If the baby hears a sound and it's in another room or outside, the baby doesn't understand that it's not inside them. The baby, and I'm like, wow, the study was nothing to do with yoga or spirituality, and it's like that
Yeah.
is oneness. That's
It has, because in psychology, this state that you talk about, so it's called the oceanic feeling.
oceanic feeling.
Yes,
Oh,
like Freud,
I love that.
that's the way he defined it. So for a materialistic psychologist from the 20th century,
Yeah.
this state that the yogis has, he said, it's nothing. This state of samadhi, this type of deep absorption,
Yeah.
where you can travel to astral spaces and see like a lot of things. They say it's nothing. It's just like a pre-personal state, which is all the babies has it. So it's just a memory of when you are a baby.
Yeah.
So it's like, depending on the philosophy, depending on the worldview which we grow up with, like if you grew up in the worldview of the West, for example, like now, we think everything is materialistic, yeah? So even your consciousness itself is derived from the function of your brain. There is nothing else.
Yeah.
So it's normal that we think that a baby having this state of oneness with everything is like an oceanic state of a baby.
Yeah.
But the yogis and the ancient world don't look at the world like that. We are a product of consciousness.
Yeah.
Your body is a product of consciousness. You
Yeah.
are not producing consciousness. It's the opposite, right?
Consciousness is producing
It's
us.
top down, yeah? It's not
Yes.
bottom up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this changes everything. So the more you are like in meditation, you understand these principles. It changes everything, yeah? Because then your thoughts are not a product of your brain. Your brain is just an antenna. These thoughts are in your astral bodies.
Astral bodies, what's that? For people at home, they're like, what?
Yes.
Including me, I'm like, what?
Sure.
Astral body?
In the philosophy, in the worldviews, right, of the yogis, so ancient civilization throughout the world, not only the yogis, but in all ancient civilization around the world, that's their vision, that's their view, that we live in a world which is a reality, a realm of being, which we call the human realm, where we live on this planet, and this universe is made of matter, and we live here with animals and other species and stuff. And then on top of that, there is different layers of realities piled up, like multiverse type of thing, right?
Yeah.
They already have this vision of the multiverse, because it's not from science, not from studying objects outside of themselves, but through their direct experience, direct knowledge. That's how they created this map of the ancient world. From Plato to the yogis to the Egyptian to the South American, they all defined these different layers of existence, right? And so the practice consists through meditation to what? To enter in resonance with these realms.
It's amazing, man.
Right, because it's a world made of vibrations.
Yeah, and what we see in this kind of
yeah,
physical...
and so in these realms, you have different bodies. Now we're more centered in the physical body because we completely forgot there is all of this other world around.
Yeah.
So we all look through the physical body trying to understand how things work. But for the yogis, it's just so narrow because you forgot that we're made of prana also, this life force energy, and then on top of that you have the astral world, the emotional body, the mental body, and then the bliss body, the
Is this when, you know, when people talk about like a higher self, you know, it's kind of thrown around in the kind of like the spirituality and this higher self. Is that what you're sort of saying? There's a bigger self to you, or an intelligence, consciousness?
we can put it very simple. Right now you are conscious that you're talking, right? So you're conscious.
Yeah.
Just this feeling of being conscious is consciousness.
Yeah.
So that's all it is.
The awareness.
But then now our limitation of our limited feeling of consciousness is individual. So it means you are identified with this consciousness, which is identified to you, breath, to me, Santosh in my body, and the way I think about myself. So this consciousness is contained, but it's still made of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's still consciousness, but it forgets itself that it's also way bigger.
Like a bigger picture.
Yes, it's like I'm a drop in the ocean and I forgot I'm made of water.
Yeah. You're
Kind
still
of
the
thing,
ocean.
right? And it's still the ocean. So when you have a higher state of consciousness, just remember a bit bigger that, actually this awareness I have becomes always before anything I can think of, anything I can feel, I'm already aware of it before even it comes. What is this awareness? this is the type of question you can ask in the dark.
Yeah.
Because we're here to talk about the dark.
Yeah, we are. Yeah. I think we're going to do like 4 podcasts today. You might need to change the batteries, Antonio. So before we just get into the dark, which I really can't believe I'm saying that, get into the dark, which is fascinating because we close our eyes and we meditate, which is beautiful, and this bigger consciousness. But then we are also on this human realm, right? So like, obviously I don't want to be so lost in my desires and my lusts and my greeds, because that creates the suffering, or my experience. So I want to kind of balance that out and enjoy this, because it's kind of a celebration as well. We're here having a beautiful experience. Like, we get to talk to each other about this, and Antonio's eating all his fruit downstairs. I've got all the coconuts. So if I close my eyes too much, then I don't get to see this. You're not saying like close your eyes, or the yogis are not saying that that's the realm and this doesn't exist, because it kind of does.
No, it's not
kind
that.
Of enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fear always of the people. Like when we talk about meditation or spirituality in general.
Yeah.
There's this idea. Okay, now I got to renounce everything.
Yeah. See ya.
Yeah. If I'm spiritual, I'm gonna be an ascetic. I cannot desire anything.
Yeah.
I cannot want anything. My life will be so boring. Imagine becoming Buddha. It would be so boring. No more coconuts.
Yeah. I wonder if it would.
No more things. This is such a why? Because in spirituality, it's going through religion and the world view we have right now about what we learn to be spiritual. And when we grow up, what we see is like people in like monks, and they have to renounce everything. And the more poor they are, and the more miserable they are, the more saintly they are. Objectively, right? And this is such a propaganda, like a religion propaganda, to kind of push you away from the real state, from the natural state, which is yourself. You are consciousness, so enjoy it,
beauty.
right? There's nothing wrong with it, but every practice has a purpose.
Yeah.
So then, sure, I can have 1 month in the dark and a retreat, and it's my purpose. I'm gonna dive in it, and I'm looking forward it, because I know it's like almost like a preparation to death before I die. It's like so mysterious, I go to these realms where like I get to know myself like I cannot know myself in this world. And it takes me only 1 month of my life, right? I live maybe 80 years old, and maybe I spend 1 month of my life doing a retreat. It's not like I'm renouncing my life, right? But I can already experience things which will transform my life. And even if I was doing like a retreat a year, of how much of my time I take away? Not so much. Right? So you see, it's just a balance. You have to decide, and it's really depending on your sense of how much you want to know. At the end of the day, it's your own aspiration.
Yeah, some people have got a thirst for spirituality and evolving consciously. I've got 2 questions. I got more than 2, but just off of that. I remember going down the kind of Buddhist path. It kind of really helped me kind of get off the drugs and change my life. But there did get a point where I had no money. I felt like I wasn't meant to have any relationships. I wasn't to have sex with anybody, no chocolate, none of this. And if I'm honest, after a while, I did become a bit disconnected, and I didn't feel as connected and as happy as I thought it would make me. I wouldn't say I was miserable. I mean, I was really buzzing through the meditation, but I was like, we're supposed to be here to connect. We're supposed to maybe eat a bit of chocolate and, like you say, have a coconut. Not too much. So I get what you're saying, where it's like there is an idea in spirituality, or maybe where we give everything up and we don't have a nice house or money and a business and a relationship and children. So I'm glad you said that, because I've definitely felt that in the past. My second one is, you kept saying you go for 1 month in the dark. You've done a month in the dark.
Yeah.
Wow. What, just literally, I'm going, there's too many questions now. Like, everything's black, you're in a dark room for a whole month.
Yeah.
That's insane, man. Guys, I know you're enjoying the video, but I've got a quick question for you. Are you okay with that monkey mind being a monkey? We've all got this voice inside the head, or voices filled with self-doubt, criticism, judgment. But most people don't understand how important it is to master that monkey mind. So look, if you've got a monkey mind or a voice that is just busy inside your head and it never seems to shut up, I know exactly how you feel. And thankfully, I found meditation about 20 years ago. And so, I have an amazing opportunity for you. It's the Bodhi Meditation Teacher Training Program. This 10-week program is designed to share with you 8 Bodhi meditations. And the amazing thing about these meditations is that they are scientifically proven proven to help you reduce stress, reduce anxiety, uplift your mood, boost your energy. In other words, create that kind of lifestyle, that energy and that health and that happiness that most people crave. Over the course of 10 weeks, I'm going to be your meditation coach. And at the end of this course, you're going to become a certified Bodhi meditation teacher. That means that you can coach people one-to-one, you can work from anywhere in the world, build online courses, or even teach meditation at yoga retreats or anywhere you decide. So click that link below and together will open up your heart so that you wake up feeling positive and literally this buzz for life. The link is below. Now you can get back to your video. Have an amazing day.
It was not my first retreat. You know, I studied the darkroom maybe 15 years ago. And I built this, because I'm a builder also.
Yeah.
Because I love life too, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't...
I can see that.
Actually, the more you're close to your own death and you realize that you are, you have an expiry date there. I don't know if you can see, but...
Yeah, you got a long time, bro. Long time.
The more you can appreciate because you kind of know your priorities in life better.
100%, bro.
You know, as a way we spend our time, oh, should I do this or do that or do this or do that? But that's remember, man, you don't have much time, so decide. Just go for it.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. So then 15 years ago, I started this and I built these earthback domes to go inside.
This is what's in Thailand here?
Yeah, because I was inspired and I thought I need to do this. It was such a call inside and I want
Nice.
to see it. And because I had a background in Buddhism like you, I did lots of retreats. I get dry also. I'm like, I need to... And then I was in Tantra for many years, celebration. And then at the end I was like, okay, now I don't need any more teachers. I don't need anything. I want to find my own guru. I want to find, I'm ready. I really want to dive in. Like, I want to see how far I've been in myself. I want to meet myself. I want to see how good company I am to myself.
Yeah.
Right? How can you know? I was really like burning for that. So I built these domes made of earth, like in earthback building. You know, it's like about 15 tons of earth, piled up, and then you go inside. And the first retreat was 3 days, and I didn't install any fan, anything. I didn't know. I went in there, I sweated the whole time.
So it was more of a sweat lodge and a dark
I
retreat.
was just like in the sauna the whole time, but I was so stubborn that
Brilliant.
I just stayed the 3 days, like just sweating, meditating, sweating. I was thinking a lot about, I'm going to put some fan. I'm going to do like this.
Brilliant. Designing the new dark room.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
So it was my first retreat. It was still good. Like it was like, I don't know, like a baptism, you know, from me. I was baptismed to the darkness.
Yeah, like you're in
yeah, because it's like the space, the dark, like the same way as you see now with your eyes, the same way after you see in the dark. And a lot of blind people can say that, you know, they have such a easiness to walk everywhere. We can feel things. You can see the kung fu style blind guys who can fight. You know,
So
you can
it's true
see,
that it brings
it's
other
true
senses
that
alive.
You have your senses alive. You know,
Yeah.
it's amazing, and you can feel the density of the space. You can feel the lightness. You can feel the vastness. At nighttime, that's when it came. So every night, I don't sleep at night there.
Wow.
Because there is a resonance between the night and the dark room.
And you can feel it.
Oh yeah, it's just like boom. Like at night, I just sit all night. It's the best time for the meditation, for everything. Just like so powerful. It's like there's no more walls. There's just the stars and the infinite, like beautiful.
Infinite.
Yeah.
Would you say that you're becoming more in tune with this nature consciousness totality? Like
Exactly. This is my purpose when I go there. If I have a
and
purpose.
to sweat.
Sweat, after it changed a bit, but still sweating. Even after the fan.
You got the fan.
Even after.
Oh, maybe I'll get aircon.
Aircon, I could not because it was still on solar energy, so I could not have enough power to put an aircon. Otherwise, maybe maybe next one.
Yeah. But on a serious note, you become, like you say, you connect more to it's nighttime or daytime or nature.
So close to nature, so close to a lot of things. It's when everything falls nicely in the meditation, that everything opens up. There is also moment, like any meditation retreat, if you've done meditation retreat, there is moments where you do some cleanup,
Yeah.
So it's more unpleasant, a lot of unpleasantness, but that's when you train the mind to be neutral, to be open, and to love yourself.
It sounds
Right?
beautiful.
It's a lot of love.
It sounds
inside,
so
yeah.
beautiful, and I'm in. I'm
Yeah,
going to do
yeah.
the challenge. I want to come to your
Yeah,
next
yeah.
when you open the next one. I would love to. We'll film it. It'd be amazing. What's the biggest struggle though that you're in there? Is it like it must be some kind of battles you're going through?
The struggle is the same struggle you have everywhere. The struggle is your relationship to yourself. Right? So it doesn't matter you're in the dark, it doesn't matter you're outside. It's just that there is really amplifying in the sense that there is no escape. You're really with your part of the mind who kind of wants to come out and have fresh air.
Bro, it's beautiful.
Right?
Yeah.
And they come.
Yeah.
And that's when you develop the other side of the meditation. There is a erroneous view of meditation being just these higher states of consciousness, expansion, all the pleasantness, the bliss, all that is one way.
It's beautiful.
Okay, it's good, but it's also changing. You know, it will change and stuff. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. What I've learned now with the meditation after all these 30 years plus, it's the relationship it creates with myself. You know, this inner love, and the way I can forgive myself very quickly, so I can forgive others very quickly. This is a wisdom we come from training the mind in that way.
Yeah.
And this is what the meditation is mean. I read so many ancient texts, you know.
Yeah.
I teach the philosophy and all that. And I can see this is what the ancient also says. The state feels good. It's like the carrot for the donkey to go forward, you know.
Chasing it.
Oh, yes, the samadhi. Oh, yes, higher state. Oh, what would be so nice.
Yeah.
But actually, what is nice, yes, it's to be able to accept oneself, to always start fresh in a moment.
Yeah.
This is a muscle. Like, I can see you're quite fit, you go to gym, yeah?
Yeah.
It's the same for the mind.
Yeah.
The meditation is there to train you, you do things. But you see, with the physical body, if you stop, it will start to, your muscle fall down, you know,
Yeah.
or you
Yeah.
get scared. With the mind, everything, every training you do, every meditation you do, it doesn't go away.
Einstein said something like that, right?
Yeah.
Once the mind expands, it can never go back to its original form or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like you learn. It's like it's a direct knowledge, it's a direct knowing. So once you know
of
it,
remembering.
yes.
Yeah.
Even and then I can get still lost.
Yeah.
And, but somehow still in me, I know it's just a matter of time before I become conscious enough again.
Yeah, there's a great
Yeah.
book. I don't know if it's up there somewhere around here. Yogi Nityananda, really beautiful book. And I read it, and I put the book down, and it's like something's just gone click, and I just like it's opened me up, and I can never go back to that old way. I'm
Yes.
still going to have my habits and my patterns. I've still got
Yeah,
work to do.
yeah,
But
yeah.
when something clicks, it just can't go back to not seeing it. If that makes
Yes,
sense.
yes,
And it feels like a remembering. It's like,
exactly,
oh yeah, but
yeah.
I also knew that. That was so obvious. But it took me a while to get there.
Yeah.
So what would be the benefits of a person that's kind of like maybe interested in the dark rooms? They're at the beginning of their journey. Like, what would you, after you've spent a month, which I think is
I
fascinating.
think for me, it's like
How
the
does it
dark
change your-
room. If you're total beginner in meditation, total beginner in this type of, you need your mind to be stable, you know. So you definitely don't do a long retreats.
Like 3 days or something?
Yeah, 3 days would be the maximum for a beginner.
You did it, right, Antonio? Right? You did it for 3
Yeah,
days, yeah?
yeah, 3 days.
Explains everything.
Yeah, then 3 days is still okay, it's manageable, but still, it's still an experience, you know. You still need to have a little experience.
A bit of a background in it.
Yeah, of a background.
Yeah.
That's why they always have to fill up a form. I don't do marketing or anything. It's always people, they find me, I don't find people.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, yeah, because I feel it's kind of, it could be dangerous for somebody having some mental health problems
Yeah.
and stuff, you know. It's not the right place to be.
Yeah.
Because you can go in a loop in your head or something, and there's
not get
nobody
out.
there to look after you or something. So that's why I don't like to advertise it so much.
I saw a great documentary. Me and Antonio watch a lot of documentaries by a company called Yes Theory on YouTube, and they did one. And somebody like you, they would come and deliver the food, obviously, in through like a little hole. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the only contact. And if do you give them like a counselling session, or hey, do you need to talk to me, or you just kind of put the food in and then kind of.
So it's the vision I had for my dark retreats, like the way I did it is like, I think what is needed in the world, right, is that people get empowered really much from themselves anymore.
Yeah.
So we always go from the paradigm having a teacher and then the students, and when you go to a workshop, you have a teacher, and then you will be the students, and then you exchange, and da, da, da. In the darkroom, I didn't want to do that. I could have teach and making retreats, but I thought, no, I want people, they can do any practice they want. It's just they want to be with themselves, and they can find themselves. If they need me, they let me know. Then I can talk to them through the pipes, the ventilation pipes. Hey, this is God talking. Whoa.
Do you need an aircon or a fan?
So then we can have exchange every now and then, And they write paper, so you can write in the dark. People wrote books in the dark.
No way.
Yeah. People wrote
I struggle to write my books in the light.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So you can write and say, that tomorrow I want vegan whatever and burrito.
They get the McDonald's instead or something.
And please talk to me or something, and then you can.
And it comes out, they can see it. They can't see it, right?
Yeah, and then I read. Sometimes I cannot read. It's just too much. I ask him to read it, to write it again.
Brilliant.
Or sometimes I can read and then I go talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is that level. When we first started, we was just in the kitchen. I said, when I think about the dark rooms, there's a little bit of, I can feel the fear bubbling up. Now, the more you're talking about, I love the way you explain that, meeting yourself and wanting to meet that self, whatever we call the self, the divine.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds so bloody beautiful.
Yeah, and it becomes so much easier to feel this part of yourself, which we call the witness consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah.
This part of you which is there, and which we don't need to think in order to be conscious, right?
Yeah.
You can be conscious without thinking. You can be conscious without having any sensation in your body. People reported that even in a state of being in a coma.
Yeah.
So in coma, they're still conscious. They can report after the coma, but I was still there.
Yeah, I was doing this. Or
So something was there, this consciousness.
Yeah.
And this is the you, which is like the deepest, right?
Yeah.
This conscious.
Deep question, but what is that part? What is the self? What is that consciousness? Because if you got a word, could you explain it? Some people would call it...
It's like awareness itself.
Yeah.
So now it's through the power of attention. So this is all the basis meditation are based on that, on the power of your attention, right? If you were able to know moment to moment where your attention is exactly, and just not be distracted by anything else, just to know where you're at every moment, you will slowly awaken to your true self, right? Because you will be present every time. Because you will not let your attention being caught in the external objects or internal object like idea of yourself and thinking identification, but you will be just present, just a mere feeling of just pure existence. I am here.
Sinking into that kind of...
Yeah, and it's always here. It cannot not be here. You cannot say don't exist.
Yeah.
Right? We can only say I exist. So from this feeling of pure existence, this is your pure awareness. Awareness is not personal.
Yeah, it's awareness.
Awareness is awareness. We share the same awareness
100%.
as I have, as he has. Everybody has the same awareness. But what makes my awareness become consciousness is that I separate from you from a sense of become personal. So a piece of awareness which is personal become consciousness for me, consciousness for you, and then we separate it. But then if you just train your mind to just be awareness, what is awareness? Instead of having my mind on the object of consciousness, on the object outside of me or inside of me, I just put my attention on just being aware. Like if you go fishing or if you go hunting, you just wait. You're just aware, you wait. It's simple as that. Yeah. It's always there.
It's
crazy.
It's amazing. Huh? It's like I go for a walk on this beach here, and I go down to the end, and sometimes I'm just like I'm going to go for a really nice walk, can have a nice meditation, and I'm thinking about the podcast, or I'm thinking about YouTube, thinking about what I write in my book, and I've done 5 laps. I'm like, you really. So then I have to sit down, and the experience that I seem to be having when you become aware of what you're talking about. It's like the tingles and a bliss or an aliveness within you, and then you see it everywhere. And again, there is no me or you. It's just this whole merging of awareness or consciousness, and it feels like such a buzz, like a genuine, it's a genuine joy.
Exactly.
Is that where we can encourage people to go through the dark as well? Does the dark amplify that?
Exactly. The dark is just an amplifier. You don't need to be in the dark to experience yourself.
Yeah.
Some people actually, they don't do any yoga, they don't do any meditation, they're not spiritual at all. And from one day to another, we don't know why. They just wake up to this awareness, to this self.
Yeah.
And they don't know what's going on. It's actually traumatic for a lot of people.
Yeah. The
When you
awakening.
wake up to yourself and you have no idea, no map, no background about it, some people end up in a psychiatric hospital, I don't know, because it's too strong
Yeah.
for them. Everything stops and they lose a certain sense of self and they find themselves everywhere.
Yeah.
And then they even lose a sense of matter, of property. Like, this is my T-shirt, this is your room, this is my car.
Yeah.
It's totally lost. There's a woman like this in the States. She had this, what's her name? Maybe we'll come back by the end of the podcast.
Yeah, yeah.
And after, she became a spiritual teacher also,
Yeah.
and Baron Katie.
Yes. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Those
And
questions.
with the questions,
Yeah.
And her first awakening, she was an angry woman, right?
Yeah.
Always angry. She was in an angry woman house where they put all the hungry women together or something like that. And she was, and one day she had a big spider walking on her leg, and the fear of it make her pop out into this reality, into this deeper self sense of her.
Yeah.
And then she was walking in the town, she didn't know who she was. She was walking into people's house cooking. People go
Wow.
home and she said, welcome. Because there was no more sense of property.
Just lost there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then slowly she have to relearn how to be a person again.
We had a lovely lady called...
Like crazy, right?
Yeah, it's insane. We
Wow.
had a lovely lady called Nancy, a Ayurvedic practitioner here.
Yeah.
And I was saying, like, you can understand why, like, some people that happens to, it's like, I wouldn't say forced on them, but it just happens for some spontaneous reason.
Spontaneous,
Yeah, and some people go on the journey. Oh, I'm going to go into it. But you can see why some people don't go onto the journey, because it is scary to, like, wake up and realize you're not what you think you are. That you're this whole oneness. And
It comes with so much bliss.
do you have that in the
It comes with
dark
so
room?
much bliss. It comes with
Yeah.
so much love, so much that it's not. The fear is like the same example that they use in the Indian philosophy, right? They say you enter a dark room, and then you see this thing moving like, oh my God, this is a snake. You're scared of the snake. So you find a switch on the side. It was just a rope.
Yeah.
Right? This
Yeah.
is the fear you talk about.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's just
an illusion.
It's just an illusion. But when you see the truth that it's just a rope, you can see the light everywhere in the rope. You can start to walk around the room and enjoy it.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
So I was at the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival like
Yeah.
10, 15 years ago in London. It's a big festival. They've got all these different... And I remember going into this like tent, and I laid down on the floor, and there was this triangle, these prods, and there was like this light. And the guy got me to close my eyes, and it was like the light was flashing all of like thousands of patterns, thousands of different colours. And I was like, wow. And I had my eyes completely closed.
Uh-huh.
And then when I came and spoke to the guy that was like selling this product, I was like, wow, those colours were amazing, and the patterns. And he's like, no, it was just one light and it was just flickering. And I was so blown away because my eyes were closed and I saw so many different things. And I've heard people talk about they see different things in the dark.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that what happens in your experience? Like,
Yes,
you just
it does.
see. You said you saw a sunset or you saw something.
Yeah,
like
like I say, it becomes a space. You travel through your inner space, right? So,
go whoa.
so
What does that mean?
the same way there is a space outside now,
Yeah.
there is a space inside.
Yeah.
And the space change depending on many patterns. It depends on your mood. The space change inside. It depends on your state of consciousness. It depends on your, for example, if I do some yoga practice, specific ones in the dark, I know I can blow my mind and then have all of these mandalas and yantras and geometrical forms and stuff. It's fun, but then I realize maybe it's not what I'm looking for anyway.
Yeah.
But still, I could see, this can be experienced and can be lived, But what is very important is to see that it's like you travel with your subtle bodies into these different realms. So it feels like you travel through, how do we call it? Mindscapes. I like to call it mindscapes instead of landscapes. Landscapes would be outside. Mindscapes is your own scapes. And even sometimes I remember having mindscapes. they just keep on coming back. And I was like, please, I want to change channel.
Put the Simpsons on.
Not again, this one.
Brilliant.
It's really like flying. I was always like, it was the same mindscape repeating in a loop, And I was like flying over this kind of bubbly stuff, really light, very smoothie, but I was just like, my God, please, just stop that. There was just like so much pain. Because the principle of meditation when you meditate is not to react, it's really to get out of the way of your experience. And certainly not try to control anything. Because you rest in the witness, right? The capacity to observe with an open heart, with a lot of kindness. Observe but not react. Let it be. We're not in life then, we are in meditation, yeah? So it's not to be misunderstood, yeah? In life, it doesn't matter. You can respond in different ways, right? But in meditation, the purpose is very clear.
It's funny because I have a quote that I say to some of our students who have been on our meditation course. Meditation begins when your eyes are open. Because I can sit on my tree and sit here and I can go into these wonderful spaces, but then how do I keep that composure and not react when somebody cuts me up on a motorbike, when I lose money in a business? And it's like, wow, this is where the practice is like, it's merging with your eyes open and your eyes are closed.
Exactly.
And then it all just becomes, I feel like what I'm getting from you is like, it's just this mindscaping of how do you bring that practice into everything and be a witness,
Yeah, this is a lifetime work, right?
Oh, you've not sussed it then? You're not finished. Next podcast. Okay, so I've heard, and I don't know if it's true, so I'd love to hear your feedback. There's a DMT in the mind or in the pineal gland of the brain. Is this true? Like when you close your eyes and you're in the dark for so long, it sends off some sort of chemical where it tricks your brain into thinking that it's closing down and going to die, and then that sends off a DMT or a natural... Is that true, or is that just a...
I think it's true to some realm, yeah. I'm sure in the realm of the physicality, of the chemistry of the brain, a lot of things change in the dark. But it's hard to make a generality.
Nice.
Like I remember, many people tell me, because there is another teacher called Mantak Chia in the north of Thailand.
I was there last month at Tao Gardens.
Okay. And he has a big dark room place where people go group retreats.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book about that. He wrote a book about the chemistry of the brain in the dark. And then he says after 7 days you start to produce some DMT and et cetera, et cetera. So I have people writing to me, I want to spend a week because then I will start to secrete DMT. And I'm laughing my head off, because for some people, I've seen many people going through the domes, right? And I serve them, I'm with them and stuff. And I can see some, after 1 day, they already start to have DMT opening. They already start to have visions, hallucination type of things. They already start to travel through this inner space, to these mindscapes. Some of them, I remember one guy did 3 weeks. Wow. 3 weeks, right? He said, he came out, and then after we talked, he said, I don't understand what people are seeing in there. He didn't see nada.
Nothing.
After 3 weeks. So I was like, I don't think it's something you can generalize.
I love that. I really love that answer.
Yeah, it's so particular,
It's so personal. It's like everything, your practice, or I say yours or mine, but you know what I mean? It's like our individual experiences, they're always going to be different. So it's just going on your own journey. And
and it's good to let go of the physicality when you're there.
Yeah.
Like in the sense of which hormone's going to do this, which... stuff and stuff. It's more a place to really be one of the most easy experience to get in there, which is very difficult to have in the visible world. It's like, when we are in the visible world, we tend to, at 90%, to be behind the eyes, right? And we think the sense of self then is behind the eyes, and this is me, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, you, because we use the eyes a lot. So the space, like the physical, the geographical space where I will call myself me or I, is in the head first, at the level of the head, and is behind the eyes. You can see 90% of people, maybe more in the planet. That's where we are located. And then we will say me from there. When you're in the dark, after just a few days, or you can be anywhere. You don't have to be in your head, because if you lose so much the sense of your body, physicality, but you don't have to have the body as a shape. You see how the physical body is like a shape where we are in and separated. Then it becomes so much easier to not have this shape. So it's more like a cloud of sensation, a cloud of perception, a cloud of thinking. But it's more like a cloud. You could be anywhere. I can be over there, I can be there. It doesn't matter. I'm still aware.
Yeah.
So it's a very delocalization
beautiful.
of consciousness kind of thing. This is like an experience we can come quite naturally.
Yeah.
You don't have to force it. It just come there.
It just comes and
Yeah, then it's really opens up the darkness, like the mindscapes, right? Because you're not limited to see yourself in this form anymore. So you allow yourself to be a different form.
yeah.
Right? It's pretty cool.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like spiritual porn for me right now. I absolutely love this, bro. It's incredible. So grateful for all the wisdom that you're channeling and sharing. How on earth did you get to this point? Like, did you have some kind of wake-up call or a rock bottom? Did something set you on this kind of path? Or have you always been intrigued in whether we call it spirituality, meditation, or yoga? Like, was there a turning point? Hello, you amazing viewer. I hope you're enjoying this video, and I've got some really exciting news for you. You know that moment when you're reading a book and it just ignites that light bulb moment for you? It wakes something up inside you, that passion, that enthusiasm, or that spark for life. Well, the big announcement is my new book, Awaken Your Spirit, is ready for either pre-order or, depending on when you're watching this book, you can order your copy right now. Over the last couple of years, I've poured my heart and soul into writing Awaken Your Spirit. I don't know about you, but sometimes that voice inside the head just never seems to shut up. Well, this book shows you a step-by-step process on how to really close your eyes and go inside and separate from this monkey mind and this never-ending conversation that goes round and round and round. Whether you're seeking inner peace, you're looking to recharge your batteries, or you want to feel more grounded and in harmony with life, this book has got something for you, and it's going to show you how to connect to a very deeper level within you. Now, I don't want to keep any more of your time. Get back to the interview, and again, if you're somebody that really is looking to get back in the driving seat of your life, master this monkey mind, reach your full potential, and ignite that excitement, that enthusiasm, and that passion for life, make sure you awaken your spirit just below. Have an amazing day and enjoy the rest of the video.
Yeah, I think I was, when I was 20, 21, I think I was in France. It was in the 90s, you know. Early 90s.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's when I think I decided I wanted to know. I was feeling a lot of suffering at the time, yeah? I was not happy about life. I was a bit of a punk, you know, like, fuck, a lot of anger. So I was suffering from that, you know, suffering from not understanding why the society like many, many people, the torment of the mind, the suffering. It is the most common form of suffering, right? The psychological suffering, this is the problem, really. You say you study Buddhism. Yeah. Like in Buddhism, that's what they say. This is the Buddhism this is the suffering which can be cured. The suffering which is like sickness, old age, death, we cannot do anything about it. The karmic suffering, having an accident now on the way back home, it would not be something I can do something about it. But the psychological suffering is something you can do about it. And so I got to get conscious of that. And then that's when I left France and I went to India, and then I never came back. I was 21 or something.
Yeah. So you went off on this kind of journey to India.
Yeah. And since I never lived back in France.
When you went to India, did you meet like teachers and
I lived in India for like about 10 years after that. Yeah. So I still went back to France every now and then. Yeah. But just as the summertime to teach climbing, and then I was going back to India for a year or two, and then I was going back to France for 3 or 4 months, and then going back to India.
And how did you get to Thailand? What was the kind of from India to Thailand?
In Thailand, because I like the Buddhism, so I was going to go for retreats with the forest monks in the north. Nice. Ajahn Chah tradition, the forest monks, very ascetic monks. Then I did my time of asceticism there. I was really ascetic. Yeah, they shaved my head and shaved my thing, and I was staying in the jungle with monks. Yeah, they do very like old yogis, like the yogis in the past, like what they could have done. You know, amazing. I didn't know they did so much yoga in Thailand. Yeah. The monks.
Yeah.
Because they're Buddhist, but they actually do a lot of yoga practices.
Okay.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Some of them are quite intense.
The yoga practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something about Thailand. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know whether it's the Buddhist culture, the nature. There's some kind of presence here which so resonates with me, and it just really gets me. Just as much as closing my eyes and meditating or meeting beautiful people that are on a journey, just being in this kind of environment, it feels like I'm coming back to meeting that self, which I think is nature.
Yeah. The forest monks have that. The rest of the monks in Thailand can be more like scholar and more mental and stuff, and they don't practice much meditation. But this particular class of monks in Thailand, they're really strong. They still hold the light there.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some kind of like a couple of quick fire questions in a moment, and then we can like share about the retreats. But there's one question that's kind of more, like, I'm just really intrigued by this. I've been meditating for nearly 20 years. I started off in a prison cell, so I kind of had that retreat where I found a book in meditation in the prison, and
it's the best place to learn.
Yeah, totally. I really resonated what you said, where like you're really meeting yourself. I didn't choose that. I did my actions chose that, but it was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Yeah,
and I loved it. You know, I found a book on meditation. I started meditating, so I've been meditating, and I've still got a crazy voice in the head. I still have my struggles like everyone else, but I'm just saying it because I've been doing it for 20 years, and I feel something lovely. Now there's this huge thing around medicines, ayahuascas and LSDs and all of these trips, which I don't know because I've never done none of that. I'm curious to know, and you don't have to share if you don't want to open up to that sort of stuff, but do you think that takes us to the same path? Because sometimes I have this, and I'm going to start exploring all of these things, but sometimes I wonder if is it a shortcut to try and get to something that would take you a longer time, or are these just stories in my head? What's your view on on kind of these medicines? Because you said something about some people come to the retreat because they want to have the DMT experience. I'm like, don't we want to come to have that? So
it's really funny because I have lots of them coming sometimes to my retreat, and because I leave the dome open to any type of practice, I'm very open. I don't feel I know the best practice or something.
Nice.
You know, everybody is free, as long as they can be with themselves and they learn the way they want. But I always keep the dome in the term like clean, that there is no substance during the retreat.
Yeah, because
it's too dangerous. I think first you're alone, and then you take some whatever mushroom or whatever, and you are already after 2-3 days maybe in the dark. No, it's not my thing. They can do that in another place, not in my house. Because I want to keep a certain integrity in my vision, in the way I run the thing. So I noticed that the people who do lots of ayahuasca, lots of this medicine, they have a strong, easy way to navigate the mind space. But then their mind is not so stable. That's why they will leave maybe before they come with, I'm going to do this amount of days, but they cannot do it. They have to leave before. So, and this shows me really well the difference between a practice where you condition, you do your pull-ups. Every day, 20 years, you did your thing. And every time it brings some more. It doesn't go back. When you take a substance, it's no surprise. You know what effect you're going to get. Like directly. And you will be into a mindscapes would be amazing, because the plant is going to take you there. And if you have even an intention maybe to heal something, maybe you can have a look at it. And I think there is some great studies at the moment when it's done in a psychological way of healing, especially with MDMA, I think, and
like trauma releasing,
and mushrooms or something. And really, the people before they take the medicine, they already did a few sessions or more of really going inside, looking at the source of the trauma, working with the charges, and then they have a little help with exactly the amount they need to get them there, to break this traumatic wall, which stops them to release, right? I think this is great. This is really, it could really help the humankind. I'm very clean. Now, if I take with a shaman, let's say, like in it's a different culture, I'm going to have very big experience, but how far is going to make me wise? How far? It's a different form, So for me, it's less attractive. I did ayahuasca once, I think. I had amazing time in terms of the trip. I was with bodhisattvas in space and flying around. It was a lot of fun.
Did you have a fan out there?
Yeah, I was a lot of people. We sing songs. It was 3 nights or something really, really intense, like for 3 days with exercise to release the charges and everything. It was good fun. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was like an experience. Exactly. It was an experience. It had a beginning, it had an end, and then I was back to where I was.
Yeah.
So it was good. It opened me up to some astral realms I've never been, but in terms of my experience on this earth, it still had my ego, I still had my things, and I still had to deal with it.
Yeah,
so this is for me the thing where it's different from meditation, where you really do the work. So every time you do a retreat, every time you meditate, every day you train your mind. You learn to tame your mind. These people forget about it. It's like a training. You learn to tame your mind. Taking a substance is like jumping on a trampoline, and then you can see behind the wall behind, but then you will go back again.
Oh,
right?
I love that. That's
Yeah,
such a
this is
great
from
analogy.
the Sadhguru.
Okay.
Yeah. He
But
said
it's
like
actually
that.
funny you saying that, because
Yeah.
it's Sadhguru's video. He was talking about it.
Yeah.
And what kind of inspired me to now be more intrigued, because I've had my I've been still meditating, was that in the comments box below, they're like, well, how do you know if you've never done it? To Sadhguru. And I was like, oh, that was pretty good, because like, how does anybody know what it's like to meditate for 5 years or play football or do anything if you've never tried it? So I was like, because I get a lot of people ask me, Brett, do you think I should go off on ayahuasca trips? And I'm like, I could never give you that answer, because I generally don't know.
Exactly.
I can say that I've meditated for a very long time. It's not always easy, but there's something in me that just feels like I would rather do the hard work and have the fruits of the labor long term. But I'm saying that from this place of I don't know.
But even it's not even about when you meditate well, you understand it's not about the quality of your meditation.
No.
It's that, like I was saying from the start, it's about your relationship to yourself.
Yeah.
To have a better life, to have a life where you stop being worrying about the future, you stop to suffer because things are not the way you want it to be, you suffer because you wanted something, it didn't come. This is what you work on in meditation. It's not about a higher state of consciousness all the time. There's a big misunderstanding there.
Yeah.
You know, when you're at peace inside,
and you can enjoy every moment, celebrating.
man, you know, it's relaxing.
Yeah.
Your mind, because we're addicted to thinking. That's the thing.
We're addicted to suffering as well, right?
Yeah, and then through the suffering we comes with it.
Yeah.
But really, it's this addicted to the thinking, and that we need to think. And so if there's no more to think, we will create problems in order to think more. So we inflict all the time our own suffering just because we addicted to thinking.
I'm so glad you said
so
that.
Crazy.
In my next book, we've actually got a paragraph which talks about the worst addiction I believe on the planet isn't heroin, it isn't drugs, it's not gambling or sex, it's your addiction to thinking of this.
Exactly.
Because that is where all the suffering and the other stuff will come from long term. So
that's what Eckhart Tolle wrote also in his book. The Power of Now.
The Power of Now. Have you read the? Not a lot of people have kind of read this one, so I really want to share it to anybody listening at home. It's called Stillness Speaks.
I don't know.
But Eckhart Tolle, it's a tiny little book, and it's just like one page, and you drop it, it's like boom, and you have to put the book down. It's like wow, and
I love that.
And he says when you get in the moment, you come out of thousands of years of conditioning and generations of like thinking, because we're just keep thinking. It's like the whole, and I was like, wow, it's such a beautiful way. Santosh, honestly, bro, I think I could speak to you
amazing.
for hours. I'm getting like a little wave from Antonio, like we're coming up to the time. But if there's one sort of message, before we do that, I'm gonna come, if it's okay with you, and do the dark room retreat. How many days do you reckon would be good for me to have a full-on experience and to go through it? Please don't say 1 month. What do you think would be a good initiation for me to start?
I don't know. I mean, I need to talk to you more about your experience in meditation.
Yeah.
But at least you could do at least a week.
Wow. I was hoping 3 days. A week. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
you said it 20 years ago.
Yeah, but
so you must
there's still something coming up about being.
Have you done long
done silent retreats? Yeah.
How many?
I think the longest one I've probably done is about 7 days with Theravada Buddhism in Hemel Hempstead, London. Yeah, we did like a 7-day silent retreat.
Silent. It was one time or a few times?
I've done a couple. I've done a couple of like 3-day kind of retreats here and there. I've never done the Vipassana.
Okay, so you're not too experienced in retreats itself, huh?
Yeah.
So maybe let's say I give you 5 days.
5 days, right? I'll take 5 days. I shaved off 2 days there. And if I did the 5 days and I enjoy it, I could just say like I could write you a note in the dark.
This I always tell the
See you
people:
next
don't go there. You put your purpose. You say 5 days, and then that's it.
Let's go.
You forget. You let
All right.
go.
Because
it's like other way you spend the last day thinking if you're gonna stay another 2 days.
well, that's a really good point. Do you know that it's a day, or do you know when it's night? Do you kind of tune in?
Yes,
you know that.
Yeah. I mean, I could hear. You can hear the sound outside.
Okay.
So it gives you some indicator.
Yeah.
But also there is an internal organ, and you feel when the night comes. I mean, for me, when the night comes, I wake up.
Yeah.
It's just like. Yeah, and then I start to
Start sort of coming back to life, where you just feel.
I just feel connected to the start. I mean, and then that's why I meditate the longest, like the stiller. And then during the day, that's when I do more like a yoga type of practice. I'm just on my mat. I do sometimes some asana, sometimes some pranayama, light. Always light, because it's too strong there. You cannot do strong practices. It's the way you just explode, you know. So then I do this, and every now and then I lie down in shavasana, like in the final relaxation on the ground, and then I pass out. I don't know how long time. Sometimes I cannot say. I wake up, I'm like, it could have been 4 hours, it could have been an hour, it could have been 1 minute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm basically going to come on a 5-day retreat and have a sleep and not know what's going on.
Yeah. So wake up and then, okay, let's start again to practice. Yeah. That's the only thing to do, yeah.
Okay, amazing. And I get my Wi-Fi in there for my phone, right? Check it. All right, Santosh, just one quick one for anybody listening at home. They might think, wow, this is crazy. Meditation, this is mad. Retreats in the dark room. We kind of, we've had a journey with it, so now we're talking from where we are. But imagine that we transported back to like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, or to somebody listening at, they've never done a dark room, they've never meditated. Where would you sort of suggest that they could start? Is there any kind of tip that you would give somebody that's kind of going through this suffering and they're like, wow, this is a great podcast. What can I do now?
What can you do is to meditate, to go to any place around your house where there is like, I don't know, whatever, a Zen center or a Vipassana center, like a place where there is like a tradition and people meditate. And then you go there and you go learn. That's it. Nice. And you start. Yeah. That's the only thing to do. You can get a book, you can start by yourself. There is a Waking Up app from Sam Harris. He's amazing. He did an amazing job. Yeah. You can learn how to be mindful. He's got a course there. Yeah. He's amazing, Nice. Yeah. I think it's a great app, and you can even have it for free if you don't have the money.
Yeah, that's
you
amazing.
Can ask them, and you have it for free.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
I think start a practice basically.
Yeah, just start to practice with the app, start to practice, do retreats, and go to a place where people meditate. So you feel the energy. Not to make friends, not to make a social things, just to go and learn and sit and have that experience.
And now I know I can say after a long journey of lots of ups and downs, it was the best thing I ever did. And so I'm guessing you could probably say that, like now the life you're living, it's like you're so grateful.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm very happy.
Yeah, I can see. Okay, so the next... Well, actually, I won't see you next time because I'll be in the dark. Santosh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is there a website that we could just go and check out if anybody did want to come over and experience that?
At the moment I'm closed because I'm trying to reopen the dark rooms somewhere else, but the website is darkretreat.center.
Darkretreat.center. And we can put a link underneath in the thing, so if anyone can reach out to you and just ask a question. Yeah. Brother, I would love to bring you back on the podcast one day. I am so grateful, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hello viewers, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm hoping that you enjoyed it just as much as we enjoyed making it. We love this adventure we're on, we love growing this community, and we would love you to actually help us. So I've got a favor to ask you. Make sure that you subscribe below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and turn that notification button on, because that actually helps us with the algorithm. In other words, it's going to help us reach more people and spread this ripple effect. And I really appreciate your time and energy for watching any video. So if you've got any comments or questions or queries, make sure you pop them in the box below. By subscribing, you are going to be one of the first people to know when we release new content. If you really want to take your journey and your growth to the next level, make sure you watch this next video and have an amazing day. Once again, thank you so much for your time and your energy. See you in the next video.